Los Angeles County, California is offering landlords rental assistance for tenants who did not pay their rent during the pandemic, but there's huge strings attached. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of Los Angeles County, California. So obviously, Los Angeles County had one of the longest eviction moratoriums in the entire country, and it only ended just this year. But landlords there, especially the small mom and pop landlords who didn't have large emergency reserves, they struggled a lot. And so LA County is stepping up and they're saying, hey, we're going to give you guys rental assistance, to pay the back rent for these tenants who didn't pay during the pandemic. The problem is the strings that they attach to it. Okay, so they put big strings on there. Basically what they're saying is, hey, you won't be able to evict this tenant if you accept this money. And I have a big problem with that because the tenant can accumulate more debt, the tenant can continue to violate lease rules, etc., and you will have no means of getting that tenant out of your property. So taking this money, it's a huge string attached to it, and only a few reasons why I would say go ahead and take it. And I'll get into that as we go through the article. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. Would you accept rental assistance money if they told you that, hey, you will not be able to evict this tenant if you take it? I already told you I wouldn't, but what about you as a landlord? If you think there's a good reason to take this money, I believe that you should take it. But most of the time, I believe that it would be better for the landlord to go ahead and get rid of that tenant, just write off the loss and be done with it. So anyway, let's get into this article. It has more details about this whole thing, okay? This article is coming from NBCLosAngeles.com, and it says, LA County offers landlords rental assistance. Here's what to know. A new LA County program offers assistance to landlords whose tenants did not pay rent during the pandemic. Yeah, if you had tenants who didn't pay rent during the pandemic and you still haven't been paid yet, it's been 3+ years. It's not looking good. Anyway, let's get into the article. A large number of tenants were able to remain in their homes without paying rent under the protection of the eviction moratorium put in place during the COVID-19 pandemic. However, financial problems ensued for property owners who accumulated debt by not being able to pay their mortgages or utilities. But a new Los Angeles County program offers assistance to these landlords whose tenants failed to pay rent during the pandemic. The assistance is available to those who did not receive financial assistance from the state government. Properties must be located in unincorporated areas of LA County. So basically, if you received rental assistance from the state, then you are not eligible for this rental assistance from Los Angeles County. So one, when you read through this, when I read this article the first time, I noticed that they had a lot of stipulations on who actually was eligible to receive this money. So there's not going to be a lot of landlords who are actually eligible to receive this. So, the few that are eligible, it's still going to be questionable whether it's a good deal for them to participate or not. You have to own properties of 4 units or less, located in Los Angeles County, but not in the city of Los Angeles, said Christian Olmos, Deputy Director of the Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Services. If the landlord was financially affected by tenant non-payment between March 1st of 2020 and the end of March of this year and did not receive state assistance, they may qualify for up to $30,000. But there is one important requirement that must be met. By accepting the relief funds, the landlord agrees to forgive the tenant's debt and not evict the tenant. That's very important, Olmos said. So yeah, keep that in mind, right? So let's say that you are a landlord who is owed by the tenant $50,000 in accumulated debt over the last 3 years, right? And you accept this $30,000, up to $30,000 from the County of Los Angeles. Well, you have to forgive the other $20,000. You just let it go, let it slide, and move on. And you can't evict that tenant. See, this is the problem. So you're going to accept a lower amount than what you are owed and you will not be able to evict that tenant. And I don't know how long that not being able to evict the tenant, how long that's going to last. That could be forever for all we know. Okay, it could be 2040 and that tenant could still, nope, you can't evict me now. You agreed when you accepted that 30 grand. So yeah, does this sound like it's a good idea? No, it does not. And so there's also the stipulation on there that if you received any state level rental assistance, you're not eligible. If you have more than a 4-unit property, you're not eligible. So the landlords who own, even a 5-unit property or a 6-unit property, they can't get this. So this is really, you can see it's targeted towards smaller landlords, but it leaves out a huge number of landlords within the city who also are owed. Personally, I believe that you should get $30,000 minimum for every single tenant that you have who did not pay. So if you have 5 tenants inside your 20-unit building who did not pay you, and then you should get $30,000 for each one, or $150,000. But that's not the way that this is written. This is written in a way so that only the small mom and pop landlords who maybe had one tenant who wasn't paying them can get this money. To qualify, the landlord must have a mortgage balance of less than $1 million and show that the missed rent payments affected them. Eligibility is based on proof of income and debt, tax returns, contracts, mortgage documents, among other documents. So did you hear all that? So eligibility for the landlord to get rental assistance requires that you have a mortgage balance of less than $1 million. That's going to be kind of hard in a place like Los Angeles where the property values are so high. So you could easily have a fourplex, for example, in LA, and it's over, you have a mortgage balance of over $1 million, so you instantly wouldn't qualify. Or like I said, if you have a property over 4 units, you don't qualify. And they're going to be verifying that you're even eligible by looking at your tax returns, looking at your mortgage balances, looking at all of your finances. But keep in mind, when it came to giving the tenant rental assistance, they didn't look at all that crap. Okay? They just were handing the money out. They didn't even make sure the tenant actually paid the landlord the money. They were paying the money directly to tenants in some cases, and then the tenant wouldn't pay the landlord. This is how ridiculous all of this is, okay? They want you to jump through all these hoops in order to get the money because, now if the landlord is participating, then they're worried about fraud. But they don't give a crap about tenant fraud. Give me a break. Give me a break, okay? So if you're a landlord in Los Angeles County and you need it, go for it. But man, I just don't think I could do it. It's so many hoops to jump through, and it seems like it's a bad deal. The deadline for the distribution of funds is December, but because funds are limited, the Los Angeles County Department of Consumer and Business Services asks homeowners to apply for assistance as soon as possible. Those who apply for assistance will receive a notice in about 30 days if they meet the requirements. For assistance with the application process, you can call Neighborhood Housing Services of Los Angeles County, and then they give the phone number and all that nonsense, right? So what do you think, okay? Would you participate in this program? Is this actually going to benefit many landlords within Los Angeles County? Are a lot of landlords within Los Angeles County actually going to want to participate? I don't know. I don't think so, personally. I think that, because of all the hoops you have to jump through, all of the guidelines, all of the, things that basically narrow down who is actually eligible to receive this money, that there's not going to be very many takers. So it looks good on paper, but I really doubt that it's going to make an impact at all. And there's still going to be a lot of landlords out there who just basically lost money and are never going to get it back. That's what the real, true, unfortunate fact is about this long-term eviction moratorium that they had in place. These landlords are never going to be made whole, okay? Just write it off at this point. Write it off as a loss on your taxes. If you survived and, if you got your tenant paying now, then good. But, it's unlikely that you're ever going to get that money back, Just, wow. This is the sort of thing that happens when there is just unbelievable amounts of government overreach, which allow, tenants to not pay rent, tenants can't be evicted, and for the landlord to just take that loss.